What the hell? This is a video right here. I didn't even have this one planned. This just popped up. He said, how I deal with being a failure at 34. Yikes. I want to hear it though. Sometimes people got insight. Let's see.
Maybe it's time to admit some things to myself. I'm 34. I have no house of my own. I'm a renter. I have no kids, no relationship, no impressive career accolades, no big fancy job with salary. I mean, I do have a mediocre salary and a regular job, but nothing to write home about in society's eyes. I have very little cash flow or savings. Very little ambition to do things.
So he's saying like very low ambition. I think that's like a common problem with people in today's generation. It's just like people don't really set goals. They don't really have motivation to do anything. It's like you got to get out there. You got to switch things up. That's what I'm doing now. That's why like with the streaming, I want to start streaming as often as I can, doing videos. Just switch up the routine, man. That's like the main thing. It's like big.
You know, I'm 34 years old.
And that's the other thing, like 34, bro. Like I'm stressing now at 26, about to be 27. Like I'm stressing every day. Like damn, I'm getting up there, bro. And I wasted most of my younger years. And I don't know if it's wasted. You know, some people would say, you know, you did better than a lot of other kids or whatever. But like, I don't know. Everyone judges themselves differently. I judge myself pretty harshly, and I think that's a good thing because I set a higher standard for myself. Yeah, that's like a story for a whole nother video, but that's why I'm locking in now. I should have locked in 5 years ago, but hey, I've been doing this YouTube thing. I've been doing streaming at YouTube for like 10 years now, on and off. My biggest problem is consistency, but that's just me.
I took 7 years to get a bachelor's. I have no
See, and
kids,
that's the other thing is like college. I knew since like 18 that like college is probably a scam. So, yeah.
no relationships. You know, I have some friends, but I've watched a lot of my peers hit milestones in their life while I've either stayed the same or gone backwards. But is any of that even true? See, a lot of the things about my life might be seen as disappointments, failures. I'm behind. I should refocus and really work on getting those things, attaining those things. And I have felt bad about not attaining these things, right? I've felt bad about,
Let's put the speed up on this, bro.
just the fact that I
My
mean, my
bad, chat.
father's dead now, but my mom and like my father will never know my kids if I have any. My parents are getting older, right? My mom's getting older. I need to hurry up and have grandkids so that they can do all that.
Temptation. I
All
mean, not
these,
temptations, but expectations from people. You know, but you gotta set expectations on yourself rather than the people. Because if you set it on yourself, then you actually have more motivation to do something. Like, if people have expectations on me, I don't know about you guys, but for me, like, I've completely, like, I don't care, bro. People who want me to do something, like, if I don't really want to do it, it's not gonna happen, bro. So, you gotta put those expectations on yourself.
external pressures that we put on ourselves to live life the right way, I guess is what we're calling it, right? The societal norms and rules that we all just blindly agree to. And I'm not saying that those are bad things inherently. I mean, just depends what you're here for. And here's the thing. I've explained all the apparent shortcomings of my life. And Honestly, it's almost as if all these markers that would make me seem a disappointment or a failure are actually the things that I feel liberated by. And I just don't see it the same way. Am I a failure because, you know, I had a lot of guilt and I felt like I had high expectations on my life, which in turn gave me a lot of guilt about wanting to go my own way and do things my own way. And my father was an executive, like, of a big company. And, you know, he was never overly pushy or.
I think this is another thing with like people that have parents that have stuff going on or are successful or even slightly successful. It puts pressure on the kid, but sometimes they can't match up to it, or they feel like they're way too far behind. It's scary because that's where I want to be. Like, I want to be super successful and be able to give to my children, but man, it's you got to be careful because of stuff like that. I don't know. I think for me, coming from my dad dying young and then being raised by like pretty much single mother, like it actually helps. It actually helps for motivation for some people. Then some people crash out too. So I mean, I guess it really doesn't matter. It's just people end up one way or the other. Really, I think it is pretty black and white. That's just my opinion.
I mean, I had expectations. There was an expectation for me to be successful. He used to tell me, like, you will be successful. It's not even an option. Like, but I never could deny. Like, I would go through the motions, but I would do everything bare minimum. I'd be going through the motions, but doing everything bare minimum. Going through college, going through like any formal structures, I would just do bare minimum because I couldn't bring myself to fully buy in.
I thought I heard something.
And I just couldn't. I just looked at this world too differently. It didn't make sense to me to put on a suit and fight traffic both ways every day to a job that I didn't want to do.
Yeah. And see, let me go full screen here. That's the thing. Like, you gotta really find something you're passionate about and just go all in, man. Because like that's what I'm doing now. Like I said, my biggest problem was consistency. I would stream, I would do videos, and then I would stop for a month. I would stop for 6 months, and even if I caught a little bit of traction, it would be gone because it would always just fizzle out. Like, you gotta really go hard and be nonstop. Like, you gotta be obsessed to really succeed in something that's other than a job, really. So it's a big commitment. It's a big commitment, and a lot of people don't realize that.
And I don't think that makes me crazy. In fact, I think it's the opposite, right? But here's what we have to realize, and call it coping, call it whatever you want. But failure and disappointment and all of these measuring sticks we have are not objective properties of reality. They are judgments generated by human-made rule sets, okay?
Yeah.
It's a very big distinction. Most measures of success are artificial. They have to do with timelines and milestones and social scripts like career and money, productivity, longevity. These measurements feel real. They hurt real. They control real behavior, but they're all constructed, not intrinsic. So when someone calls themselves a failure, like me, what I really mean is I failed to conform to a rule system that I did not consciously choose. That's not metaphysics. It's just an accurate accounting of my life. And this is why disappointment is not even fundamentally real, if we want to strip everything down to what I consider truth, right? Like, a rock can't be a failure. A tree cannot be a disappointment. So for a human to be a failure, we need a goal, a timeline, and some sort of comparison standard. And
So the thing with this is that's true. It's like a Buddhist take. And that's something like I'm learning currently because it is pretty interesting. Like, everything we know and live by is all kind of set by society, and none of it's actually real. Like, when people die, it's not actually sad. It's just what we've connected it to. Obviously, yes, I feel a type of way. You guys feel a type of way. But like, if we strip it of that, we just focus on just existing. It's just part of it. It's part of the simulation, if you will. It's part of life. You know what I mean? And so when people give that excuse, like, there's two ways to use it. It's like, that is the truth, but you can't use that and be like, well, I failed because these are the society standards. It's like, no, that's the standards. Just go about your life and just stick with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, if people say you're a failure to that, then you're a failure. Like, keep going. Like, you know what I mean? Like, find something else, pivot, you know? Just because you move to something else doesn't mean you quit. It's just a pivot. The only time you quit is when you, like, really, really just give up and you're not doing nothing. So, I don't know. I think with this guy doing a video is good, too. Like, how many followers does he have? Or subs? He's got 8K subs. So, I mean, you know, maybe he popped off from this. Maybe he didn't. I'll have to check that out after. Let's see.
All three of these things come from culture, not from nature. Nature only cares whether a thing exists. It doesn't issue verdicts about our ontology we put on top of consciousness. I'm not saying that nothing matters, but I'm just saying some of the worst parts of our reality are optional.
And I think another thing that people don't do is they're not aware of their consciousness, bro. Like, people are just going by in life day by day, and then, like, 10 years passes. Like, people are not aware that they're, like, you only get one shot, bro. You gotta do something, man. Every day that you waste is, like, opportunity missed, for real.
Making an argument for selective seriousness. We can keep the compassion, we can keep the responsibility that, you know, for harm and not harming others and immediate consequences, right? Like jumping off a cliff. Release the shame-based identities, the borrowed expectations that we have from everybody, these invisible goalposts that we keep putting on things, narratives that exist mainly just to control behavior. And why I don't think this is just escapism or coping. It's not just to throw away or avoid accountability in our lives. Pain is real. Consequences are real. Suffering is real. But moral worth,
Just what I was saying,
life
basically.
value, identity as a success or a failure, these are not consequences. These are interpretations. Letting go of false rules doesn't remove our responsibility. It just removes the unnecessary self-punishment that we constantly do. You can't act.
Sometimes that self-punishment is necessary, though, for some people, depending on who you are, how your brain works, how you process all these things.
Actually be a failure. You can only fail at rules someone invented, often without your consent. Nature doesn't measure you, only people do, and most of those measurements were never meant to help you live. Disappointment isn't a fact of reality. It's a social technology. Just to make sure that I'm not being misunderstood. I'm not rejecting effort. I'm not rejecting growth. I'm not rejecting meaning of this world. I'm rejecting being trapped inside an unconscious rule system that defines your worth. There's a distinction there. A lot of the suffering of life comes because people believe they're losing a game that they didn't even agree to play, right? Letting go of these rules isn't quitting life. It's changing the rules we measure ourselves by. And it's a liberating thing. So, you know, I'm not saying any of this information will change your life overnight or anything, but sit with some of this information, okay? We need to realize there are constructed parts of our reality that are there as roadblocks to make it harder and to fit you in a box, okay? Work on trying to notice whenever you start feeling those flutters of anxiety or fear or insecurity bubble up in your chest. Notice that rise and that change in your chest and watch yourself attach a story, a narrative to that feeling and run away with it in your head, right? It could be about anything. It could be about being a disappointment to your parents, about why doesn't that person like me, or ooh, they betrayed, like whatever the narrative is that you're attaching to these feelings, just reverse engineer them and see where they're coming from. Are they coming from a fabricated rule set from society, or is it even something that you need to concern yourself with? I don't know. Just trying to unwire a lot of that unconscious programming that we have that just simply makes things a little bit harder for us. That's all I'm trying to do, is just spread a little bit of awareness so that we can respond rather than just react to the life that's happening around us. So I'll leave it at that for now. Thank you for watching.
I mean, overall, yeah. Overall, yeah, that's true. But I think something like, you know, those society standards that he's saying, like, you know, don't get stuck in them. It's like, but sometimes those are necessary to give you the frame. It's the framework. It's the, you know, the groundwork of, like, this is where you should be, what you're doing. This is how it is. And then, like, if you don't do it, yeah, you don't have to, like, go by the idea, like, oh, you're a failure. But, like, you know, kind of understand, hey, I should be doing something. That's like the main thing. It's like, yeah, don't listen to what, you know, all this stuff is, but at the same time use it as a base standard to kind of judge what you should or shouldn't be doing. And honestly, you don't have to do anything, but like, I'm just saying, if you want to succeed in today's time, that's how it is. But overall, yeah, W video, man. That was a good video.